Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Game lead on Oakland for the AL West lead. NFL preseason, we had the Saints over the Jaguars 23-21 in that New Orleans quarterback battle. Jameis Winston was 9 of 10 passing, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Taysom Hill was 11 of 22 passing, 138 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. I'm Eddie Garcia.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, Early Break, full show ahead. Rick Kaczynski, Robin Washut, and more today. We sit here, 4 days away from Nebraska, Illinois, and Champaign. Noon kickoff. You will be there. I will not. We'll be doing pregame and postgame shows here that I'll be a part of on Saturday. Looking forward to that.
Where are those occurring?
We will have, thanks for asking, pregame will be here at the studio, but for other home games, like next week, you'll be at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket for our pregame show. Postgame here, and then the second postgame with Jay and DP will be at Tanner's down south. So 2 postgame shows every game this year. How about that?
That's amazing.
But yesterday we got ready for the season with the opening press conference. Lots of players, the captains talked, Scott Frost talked. There's a lot of things to get to from yesterday. Of course, the black shirts we handed out, 12 black shirts to Nebraska's defenders ahead of the season. Some people are like, earn them during the season. Obviously, a lot of people feel like give them out before the season. I'm sure you are. What boat are you in for the black shirts? Before the season or earn them during the season?
Oh, I'm
curious. I'm not bothered by either way.
Yeah, me neither. I'd say before the season. You can earn them. You can earn them throughout the off season and in camp.
I generally feel like it's fine to give them out before the season.
You know, during the Osborne era, they gave them out before the season.
Yeah.
Seemed to work.
It did.
Right?
I'm fine with it.
Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Let's increase the energy a little
bit.
What?
I'm energetic as hell. Should I yell some more?
I'm probably talking to myself.
4 days away.
Harrison's over there. Good morning to Harrison. Harrison, I got his name right. I start calling all these guys different names. I forget their real name. What's Milfy's real name?
Jacob
Milfy.
Big Sky's name is Ethan.
Hot Take's name is Scott Ayers.
you got it. See, you know their names.
Yeah,
you're good to go.
Okay. We for all the EPs I left out, we're not going to go through all of them. Those were
they didn't all have nicknames.
Right.
So
yesterday was a day.
I thought, okay, so
yesterday was a day.
We're going to have plenty of audio from the press conference to get to and address, and we'll get to more at 7 o'clock as well. I like to start off the show kind of with the tone of Scott Frost, which I think people there was so much.
I thought we were starting off with the black shirt.
Well, I feel like we can start with the black shirts if you want to. I wrote, the rundown changes every given day.
Okay,
fine. We'll go with.
We can go with the. So what are we going?
Here's what I thought. As the day progressed yesterday, of course, Sip, you were in the room for the Scott Frost press conference yesterday, and everybody else. And the tone was different than usual for Scott Frost. He spoke for just over 5 minutes. And what you heard, if you look at social media, which of course is a cesspool all the time, that's my thought, it's a cesspool, was, wow, Scott Frost, what was that performance? What are you doing? What a joke of a performance at the podium.
Performance.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. So that's what people are saying.
He's not there for our entertainment.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for saying that. I had people text me saying, what was up with Scott Frost today? I said, what are you talking about? It's like, well, he's so short and he's snobby. I'm like, I listened to it. I went and watched it before bed again last night. The whole 5+ minutes. Okay. I watched the whole thing from start to finish again, just to see if I was missing something.
As
here.
a sleep aid?
No. Yeah. Before I brushed my teeth, I went and I pulled up the press conference. I watched from start to finish for Scott Frost specifically. I said, I don't have any problem with anything he said the whole time and the way he delivered it. He gets so much crap all the time for saying the same things about, we had the best week of practice.
Right.
When you aren't winning, you can't win in a press conference. You're too short yesterday and too snobby for people.
Right.
Where usually you say the same thing and people have a problem with it. You just cannot win. So the people who are texting me saying, oh, what was that? I'm like, what do you want him to say? When he says stuff, you yell at him and say, you suck.
Right. People
suck is the thing. People suck. That is the key.
No, come on, Jake.
That's what I'm saying.
Jake.
You cannot win in his position unless you start winning. How about that?
Well, is it always going to be all about that? I don't believe that. I mean, necessarily. Does it all come down to at places like Nebraska that the head coach is okay if he's winning, if he's not, nothing's okay? Is it just that? I guess it. I guess it is. Wow. The Vegas Bobcat has weighed in.
What is he saying?
The Vegas Bobcat is back. Okay, so we're off to a very hardcore start.
I'm pissed at people.
Just calm down.
For their anger at Frost. When I watched it, I listened to it first. I watched it again. Was it different? Yes, it was different.
Okay, now here's the thing.
But I had zero issues with the way he was addressing the media yesterday. You don't need these long, prolonged answers. He answered the questions. There was a couple he tried to get out of, but he answered the questions short and sweet.
The Vegas Bobcat says you are both really defending his BS yesterday. I watched it twice. He said, I guess he's talking about me, are a hypocrite for calling Bo an enemy of the press. Now, Jake, I think you were pretty critical of Bo Pelini for not always being very kind to the press. So how do you reconcile that?
I would say yes, I was critical, but Bo Pelini, as you looked at it, was getting a lot of anger towards him as well. He had the same stuff with Frost. Frost is, everything he says gets backlash, saying, oh, well, he says it all the time. Best week of practice. People are so sick of that phrase. And so he's probably going to learn to stop saying that or other things he clings to say a lot.
Now, hold on. Let's think about this.
All right.
He is the leader of the program. Okay. A program where people are watching him all the time throughout the state. I mean, he kind of sets the tone.
I understand that.
And this is, Jake,
mm-hmm.
This is game week. It should be an exciting time. And I think he just could have shown a little more joy. I mean, that, right?
I don't think he had to.
Well, I don't think
This is a guy that last week, during the middle of the week, there was a report coming out about an investigation in the program. You think he's very happy right now about stuff that I think you and I think is pretty minor?
Right. No, I got you.
He's annoyed. Yeah. Whoever released it, he's pissed at.
Yeah.
He wants to play football.
Well, I don't know. Now, hold on. You don't know that he was angry yesterday. I don't know that he was.
That's fair.
I don't even know if he was in a bad mood.
Okay.
I don't want to judge all that stuff because I have no idea. Maybe he was in a great mood. Maybe he just, who knows? Do people know what we're talking about? Do you want to play the audio?
Well, we got several clips. They're short because that was the answers from Scott
just
Frost.
rip through 4 of them.
All right.
This is what we're talking about. If for people that are unfamiliar with what we're talking about and didn't hear Scott Frost yesterday in his weekly news conference with local media, this occurs weekly during the season. This is the season opening press conference. See what you think.
Here's a couple clips. Here is Scott Frost on guys the team's level of excitement so far here. If you don't listen, you might miss the clip. So listen close.
They're playing hard. We're getting good leadership. I think the focus is there. The guys are excited.
There you go. That's a short 5-second clip there from Scott Frost there.
What was the question on this one? That next one.
Here's one. It says, how has player leadership improved in his time at Nebraska? Here's Scott Frost to that answer.
I like how they're preparing for the game this Saturday. Starting with today, I like how they prepared in camp. I like how they're leading the team to get us ready.
I mean, what else does he need to say to that
That's
question?
not bad. Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay.
Play 2 more.
Okay,
Read the question, then the answer.
All right. Here's his thoughts on. He was asked about defensive progress. What's the defensive progress so far going into the season?
I feel good about it. Look forward to watching them play on Saturday.
Does he need to expound more on that, Sip?
All right, play another one.
Okay, but hang on. I get people saying, "Have you ever seen a Bill Belichick press conference?" Yeah, and Bill Belichick gets he wins games, which helps him be able to do that. And I get your argument to that, but also if Scott Frost and Nebraska go out and beat Illinois 45-10 on Saturday, I think you're good. If for those who have a problem with his tone from yesterday, I think you'll say, "Oh, maybe he is just straight locked in." And this team is just dialed in.
Yeah.
They don't care about this crap about talking to the media and giving you long quotes. He just wants to play football and win games.
Right.
We
have okay, play
here's some. Which one do you want?
Just the next one.
Okay.
But please read the question.
All right, this one's actually 15 seconds long. It's a long answer from yesterday. He was asked, how has the preparation been going for Illinois this season? Here's Scott Frost from yesterday.
Yeah, you're never 100% satisfied. We can always get better, but I've been excited about the preparation. All the preparation in the world doesn't matter if you don't go play well. So I think our guys are laser focused right now, and I like where they are.
Laser focused. Sound like Scott was laser focused yesterday.
Terry writes in via the Twitter, Frost is in game mode, and people should understand that. Wants it more than anyone, period. Go back and watch the presser after UCF beat Auburn. Very similar. Dude might have his mojo back. So not everybody thought it was concerning. I did, to be fair, hear a lot of people like you that
I heard a lot more that were angry about it and bothered, saying what's this? I got texts. I'm like, what's wrong with you? What do you need to hear from your head coach all the time? The man spoke. He did not deny his press conference setting. He answered the questions. He was surly on a couple of them because he could be surly.
Here's what Ray says on Twitter. Frost sounds like a guy that wants to narrow the focus to be ready to go on Saturday. And everything else is a needless distraction this week. So those are people. Hey, Jake, I just read 2 that were
supportive.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. The Vegas Bobcat, on the other hand, says he's boycotting our show. that we are being hypocritical because we'd be critical of Bo Pelini for his press conference demeanor, but now we're supportive of Frost for similar behavior.
Well, number one, this is basically the first time it's happened for Bo. That was a weekly occurrence. If this happens a lot, it depends. Does it get worse than this at the press conferences? I don't know. This is one time. I'm okay with it for one time, Vegas Bobcat. And if they're winning games and he's just as short and sweet, then I'm all right with it.
He said he's heading to another station.
Well, Vegas, it's been nice knowing you, Vegas Bobcat.
Yeah, it's a little contentious, but it's interesting. I mean, Jake, think about it. Think about what we're doing right now. Think about what we're saying and what we're hearing from people. We're hearing from 2 very different camps.
I know.
Vegas Bobcat says, why are you apologizing for Frost's behavior? Ray and Terry, and I'm sure the text line's like that. Ray and Terry are saying, hey, he's locked in. They agree with you.
Yes,
I'm somewhere in between, probably.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be.
Yeah.
I thought you might be somewhere in between.
Yeah, I am somewhere in between.
But I seriously, I sat down last night and rewatched to say, did I miss something here that people are so mad about? I watched from start to finish. Yes, it was a different tone. Yes, it was not as comfortable and pleasing as usual. And I didn't have any problem with what he said and how he did it.
I just now like I said, now he is, you understand though, as the head coach of the Nebraska football program, a lot of people are looking at him to kind of set the tone.
Sure.
Right. He doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's just not he and 35 media people and a few hundred people watching on whatever they watch the press conference on. It's everybody kind of, there's a lot of people, thousands that look to that. Now, some don't look at it like I'm suggesting, like he's a tone setter. I don't know. I just think leaders in general, Jake, have to be mindful of the tone that they set, especially the leader of a football program as important as Nebraska's to the state. That's all. That's what I'm saying. Now, did he go too far with it yesterday? I'd say no.
No,
I don't think he did. And he does have enormous pressure, but I'm not saying the pressure's getting to him. I don't know that it is. It looked like he was just fine when he gave out those black shirts. When they gave out the black shirts, I think it was after practice. Okay. And if you see the video clip of that, he's just fine. He's revved up. So, and I think I talked to one person close to Frost last night, and his thing was, this is when Frost's at his best. When he's like that, that's when he's at his best. He's locked in. So I don't know that the media was making a huge deal.
They were.
Were they?
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to name names,
okay.
But yeah, they were.
Okay.
At least a couple people.
Okay.
And I don't want to name names.
All right. Don't name names.
But
I wrote the first part of my takeaways column about it. So
yeah, not you. It's not you. I don't want to name names, but there were some media that were offended by how it went yesterday or upset about it. And I said, I just shake my head. I don't say anything.
Yeah.
I shake my head and say, he doesn't owe you these long quotes. He's at the press conference. He's locked in. I bet he's probably annoyed about last week what happened with the investigation.
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
And also, he knows everything he's ever said gets torn apart by people saying, well, the best week of practice. Well, stop saying that then.
Yeah.
That's the people's sarcastic tone against him.
I mean, I will say it was interesting. I think it was not terribly interesting, but I was kind of struck by it.
Here's a couple. We'll get to Chris on the hotline in a second.
One second, Chris. Just hold on.
We have a lot of people. I'd say most people are agreeing with our sentiment that it's not. It was fine. But I want to read some of the ones that are opposed, that were bothered by it.
Okay.
RJ says this on the text line. RJ says Scott was a sarcastic smartass and acted like a petulant child, unprofessional. I don't read it that way. I got the same texts from other people, same stuff. I'm like, you can read it that way. I read it as a guy that's dialed in and says, we want to go win a game. We have a big monster game ahead. We got to set the tone for the season. I don't have time to fluff around and answer your questions. I'll do that. Maybe if we beat Illinois, you get more time for the Fordham game. Maybe he's more relaxed and calm and talkative next Monday.
So okay. So
That's
he was described as sarcastic and petulant. What about brusque? I would say brusque, abrupt in speech. I'd just say brusque. I don't know that he was sarcastic. I don't think he was sarcastic.
I don't know if I saw the sarcasm there.
Go ahead.
Vern says, he set a tone, and it's get out of my bleeping face. Let's bleeping go. Vern liked it. Vern was jacked about that.
Yeah. Dialed in.
I'm just happy.
It's interesting. Isn't it interesting, though, Jake? What are you hearing?
People are on my side. Our side.
No, you're hearing
our side.
You're hearing two distinct camps, though, right?
But the camp that was okay with it is pretty vocal this morning, saying, yeah, I was fine with it. Because people understand, Sip, that everybody in the state gets eaten alive, especially if you're not winning. And Scott gets eaten alive for everything he's ever said And the less you can say, the best. And people say, well, you got to talk more. Well,
okay.
That's where I'm at with
there
this.
is an obligation on the part of the head coach. There is Jake, don't take the media out of it.
Okay.
We're just a conduit to the fans. The fans want to know certain things. They want to hear certain things. They want to hear, Jake, they want to hear about the captains and why they're the captains and how Scott feels about the captains. And they want to hear about the black shirts. And that was a big day. They awarded the black shirts. That's a big tradition, Jake, right?
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you.
That's kind of an important day in the program. He is the spokesman for the program, right? And now, are you listening?
I am listening. I'm getting quotes pulled up too.
He's the spokesman for the program. It's the week. It's Monday of game week.
Yes, it is.
They gave out black shirts. Captains were named Saturday. Those are all very important elements to the program, and the fans are shareholders.
They are.
And they're very important to this program. All right. They've been incredibly loyal, 375 straight sellouts through thick and thin. Is it now? Just bear with me.
Okay.
I don't think it's too much to ask for the highly paid head coach for 10 minutes on Monday to talk to basically the fans and say, this is what we're doing. All right. I'm not being highly critical of him for this. You know my personality. I'm like that a lot of the time. So it's hard for me to be overly critical of someone who goes into a bit of a shell and gets short with his answers, because God knows that I can get
I've
that
seen
way.
it before.
Yeah, I
it's
get that way.
uncomfortable.
Right. So now some people are going to say, yeah, but Sipple, you're not the representative of a multi-million-dollar operation that is so important to the state. You're just part of a show. So it is different.
Mm-hmm.
I find the conversation to be kind of interesting. Do you see where I'm coming from on that
I
part?
fully do.
For 10 minutes, he could just put on kind of a happy face.
Okay, well, here's the response to that. And Chris, I promise we're getting there. We get a lot of great texts, so hang on. This is back-to-back texts from two different people.
Okay.
Ready? I'll read them both.
Yeah.
Shane in Lincoln says this in the text line,
All right,
464-5685. We've been saying all offseason, quote, less talk, more winning.
Right.
Then Scott Frost talks less and people freak out.
Right. Yeah, that's
See,
a good point.
That's exactly where I'm at.
No, that's a good. I know. I want to say I am sort of riding the fence on this. Unfortunately, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I totally understand that sentiment, and I bet you Frost hears that. What do you hear from the media all the time? Quit talking, just go show us. Right.
Just quit talking.
Right.
And you're pissed about it.
You're right. He can't win.
You can't win if you don't win.
Right.
If you don't win games, you simply can't win.
Quit telling us how good you are. Quit talking about it. Just go win. So if he goes and talks about the black shirts in glowing fashion, people are going to say, yeah, just show me. So I get it. He can't win. You keep reading.
Here was the other text that followed Shane and Lincoln's from Sandman. Sandman says this: Scott can't win. If he's short with his answers and direct to the point, he gets picked apart for being too brash and too short. If he gives long quotes, people will say and accuse him of not being dialed in enough. Like I said, if you're not winning games, you just cannot win at the podium.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot you can't win.
But I like the approach he had yesterday. I might be alone in that, but apparently I'm not.
But here's the thing: forget criticism or judging it. I just want him to feel a sense of joy with what's going on. Now he doesn't have to show that.
He might have a sense of joy.
He might.
If they win 45-10.
No, he might have been having a great day yesterday. I mean, I just hope that's the case. I hope with that. Okay, Jake, what I hope is that the way he appeared is not the way he's feeling. On a human level, I hope that. I hope that the stress isn't so great that he's not having a large degree of joy with what he's doing right now.
Well, maybe he's just locked in. You can be joyful when you win games and you're locked in.
Yeah,
it's very possible.
All
right, we got to get to the phones. We've had Chris wait way too long. I had a lot of great texts come in, Chris.
I really am interested in what Chris said.
Chris, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Good morning, Steve Jake.
Chris, how are you this morning? What do you think?
Very good. Thanks, Steve. Listen, I had no problem with that 5.5-minute press conference yesterday. Matter of fact, I kind of like that kind of stuff. You know, I'm sure Scott gets that 12-20 record thrown in his face all the time. He's reading it in the papers all the time. You know, I just hope the players are that way too, focused in. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it yesterday. Matter of fact, I like it. And you know what? He's not going to be like that at every press conference. You know, it's not going to be like that every time. Steve, you guys are over there. Jake, you guys are over there. But you know what? I think Scott realizes, you know, this is a pretty big game coming up here. Even though this team we're playing is picked last in the West Division,
Right.
You know, everyone's going to be watching how this team performs. You know, mistakes, penalties. You know, people are going to be watching this stuff. You know, and let's face it. You know, Scott hasn't had the best start, the best luck here. You know, from that Akron game 3 years ago, right on through what's happened this last off season. So, Steve, Jake, I have no problem with the way he was yesterday. And one other thing I want to throw at you guys real quick here. I was talking to a friend of mine from Muscatine, Iowa, that sits up by me for the last 40 years, and he was saying he has coffee every morning over there with some Iowa and Iowa State people, and he said he's been getting that thrown in his face about Iowa State having 3 preseason first-team All-Americans, and that the Iowa State tickets are now harder to come by than the Nebraska tickets. And Steve, I you know what? I know you've seen a lot of the 80s and 90s. I never thought I would see that day, but it's here.
But
So
yeah, the world changes.
So let's go ahead, Steve.
The world changes. It really does.
It boy, has it changed.
Yeah.
But hey guys, let's hope for the best this Saturday, and we'll talk to you down the line, guys.
Thanks for the call, Chris.
Chris, I appreciate that. So Chris is 100% in agreement with you. And Jake, I appreciate your position on
Oh,
this.
I'll defend it the whole day and tomorrow and the next day.
I appreciate
And
that.
when they win 45-10 Saturday, I'll say, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Lock it in, baby.
All right.
And I bet his tone's a little different for next Monday if that's the case. He might be a little bit more open, a little more cheery.
Maybe.
And maybe not.
I mean, maybe.
And guess what? If that's the case, I'm still like, hey, do what you got to do, brother. Do what you got to do.
A thought occurs.
What thought would that be?
Maybe Frost, this was somewhat something of a grand plan, that he knew that if he came out and acted like this, that's all we would talk about. And in effect, that is taking pressure off his players.
Hey, he understands how this place operates.
Yeah, because we're not talking
knows.
anything about what Adrian's going to look like or what, you know, we're not talking about anything player specific.
Not right, at least.
Maybe,
Not yet.
maybe,
Not
just
yet.
maybe Frost was actually taking pressure off his players,
Hey, man.
because that's all people are talking about right now.
Smart guy, if that's the case. Smart guy.
Well, once again, it was a big day. The black shirts were named. Now, the captains were named on Saturday. Okay, Vince.
All right.
Yeah, we have time. Do we have time?
We got time. Then we'll get to Kaz. Vince in Napa, California. You're on early break. Go ahead.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Vince,
Good
we're
to hear
doing
from you.
fine. We're doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. But
All right.
anyhow, relevant to the press conference yesterday, I mean, I just think that, Jake, I'm in the same church, same pew as you, and I'm even sitting on your lap.
Oh, wow.
But anyway,
That's
but
probably not necessary.
anyhow, though, I think one reason why people are, sort of a little bit maybe triggered by what happened is because it was a little different from the norm. But I'm totally okay with how Scott Frost was yesterday, because to your point, I think more or less people are looking at it in terms of, well, it's time to get down to good old-fashioned football, because I even go back years ago, Sip, and I remember going to Tom Osborne's press conferences. And, and as you know, Coach Osborne had this dry sense of humor. I remember as clear as day yesterday, Osborne would typically end the press conferences, and, he'd look around to see if there was more questions. He'd say, "Is that it? I don't know. I probably told you too much. You probably remember that more than a few times. And the one thing about it too, I mean, you're also looking at a fan base before Scott Frost. Keep in mind, we went for, going from Bo Pelini to Mike Riley. I mean, that's like going from Archie Bunker to Mr. Rogers.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Riley did remind me of Mr. Rogers for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyhow, I'm totally fine with how it was. I mean, and I think that's another thing. It's like, so many times he says, well, we have our best week of practice. We have our best week of practice. And then boom, we go out there and lay an egg. And, I didn't think about it, but to your point, maybe he was trying to take pressure off his players, because now people are talking about him and not them. But, I would have liked to have heard more as far as what went into, selecting the captains and the black shirts. But at this point, I just want them to play like captains and black shirts.
Right. I hear you, Vinny. That's a good point. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Hey, mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Take care, fellas. Have a good one.
Okay.
Thanks for the call, Vince. Appreciate it.
It's the two camps to me are really interesting because the Vegas Bobcat is so opposed to what you're saying and what I'm saying,
and all the textures
that
Vince
he's going on he's boycotting the show.
Well,
that
happens.
That now, and you're hearing other texters that one called Scott petulant. So I'm very interested that there are two pretty strong camps.
I'd say if the text line is the representative of the state, it's been the minority has been upset about yesterday, and most are saying I'm fine with it because he can't win at the press conference. Usually, everything he says typically gets torn apart.
I don't know. That's a little now, Jake. All due respect, that sounds a little defeatist to me. I mean, where I come from on that is if he was just pleasant yesterday, it would have nobody be talking about anything, right? Just pleasant. There's probably what I'm talking about is a happy medium. He doesn't have to be loquacious. I don't expect
great word.
Yeah, I don't expect Regis Philbin to materialize every Monday, but it is game week and it is it should be kind of an exciting time.
You have the
and
very
you would
first
agree,
game of the season of everybody. You are the first college football
right,
game of the season.
Right. And it sounds like I'm being critical. I'm not. I'm just a little, I guess I was just a little thrown off by it, but I moved on fast. I mean, I didn't address it in a full column. Did you?
I watched it again to make sure I liked it, and I loved it more the second time.
Okay.
I heard it.
All right. Well, I appreciate that.
We'll ask Kaz his thoughts on the
see
demeanor
what
of
he says.
Scott Frost.
All
Rick
right.
Kaczynski's up next in an early break in the ticket.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
Need a better job? Looking for a career? Gaina Trucking and Excavating is what you're looking for. They are a rapidly growing company looking for a heavy mechanic. Gaina Trucking and Excavating offers a team culture with lots of benefits, including 401k, health, annual raises, paid vacation, holidays, and much more. It's a great career opportunity. Want to love what you do? Join the Gaina Trucking team. Apply online at www.gainatrucking.com. That's www.gainatrucking.com.
Join DP and Jay Foreman on Wednesday at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. DP will go 1-1 at 3 with Husker Online Sean Callahan, and Jay joins in from 4 to 6 to preview the Illinois game and more. That's all this Wednesday at Tanner's 30th and Yankee Hill.
So Planet Fitness is only $10 a month with no commitment. Pretty sweet. That's $10 a month to be in a thumbs up emoji place. Yes, I just said thumbs up emoji. It means that you're in the judgment-free zone. That's $10 a month. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com. The world judges. We don't. Planet Fitness. Be free.
2 Lincoln locations, just east of 27th and Folkways and 48th and Van Dorn.
Annual membership fee applies. Participating locations only. See club for details.
93.7 The Ticket's coverage of high school football is back this week.
We start on Thursday, where we head to Seacrest when Lincoln East will begin their quest back to the Class A playoffs as they take on neighboring Lincoln Pius X. And on Friday night, we head to Norris for a preseason top 10 matchup between the Titans and the visiting Elkhorn Antlers. 93.7 The Ticket's high school football coverage is powered by Southeast Community College, Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, Union Bank, and the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The heat and humidity in full force once again today. A heat advisory in effect this afternoon. Actual temps near 100. It will feel more like 105 with a south wind at 15. Slight chance of storms this evening. A low dropping down to 71. Just a touch cooler tomorrow with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Experience an increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay. Brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are 4 days away from kickoff in Champaign, Illinois against the Illini. Nebraska, Illinois, first football game of the season at noon. We are joined now by former Husker defensive line coach Rick Kaczynski. Kaz, good morning to you. We have plenty of questions ahead of the game and thoughts on what's going on, but I got to ask you. I mean, we talked about the whole first segment, the tone of Scott Frost yesterday going just over 5 minutes in his opening press conference for the season. Do you have any problem with that? Does he have to come out and be cheery and different? What are your thoughts on his performance, I guess, yesterday at the podium, at the press conference?
Hey, well, good morning, guys. So game week, glad it's here. I can't believe it's here. What a privilege, what a blessing. I mean, just think about how great it is. College football can have a packed stadium.
Boom.
Huskers on week 0, right? So let's talk about some positives. And absolutely, Jake Sip, no problem with the press conference.
Oh, interesting.
You got to understand coaches, all right? Let me just paint a picture, and
Okay.
I'm going to be a little bit critical here.
Yep.
Okay.
So you got a head coach for about 20 months that's been getting bashed, right, by the media about every little thing he does.
Mhm.
He comes into a room full of guys who haven't worked out since Solich was the coach,
Easy.
shoving their face with Valentino,
Oh, boy.
unshaven, shirts untucked, and what they're going to do is question his craft. So, Sip, let me ask you: how about you write a happy article? You want him to be happy up there, and you said, Sip, that he's setting the tone. Setting the tone for who? The fans or his football team? What do we set the tone for?
Well, I think
the tone is set by the football team, not for the fans. And you talk about he's the team spokesman and the shareholders. Aren't you responsible for some of the negativity that's spewed to the shareholders also?
Yes,
Coaches,
I am.
I can tell you, coaches have no problems with the fans. Coaches, from Bo Pelini on down the line, coaches are friends with fans. All right? Those fans come in, pack the house. We talk about the crowds on Sunday. We talk to the team about the fans, about respecting the fans. We talk about the former players, the traditions. The negativity is fed through the newspapers and the media. That's facts. So before you start looking at the head coach, take a look at yourself, sir.
Well, now hold on. But once you agree, now,
I'm all for Coach Frost. Let's go, man.
I hear you, Kaz. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but I still think that it's okay. It's game week. Yesterday was Monday, the start of game week. A lot of people are watching the head coach, and I do believe he sort of sets the tone for the entire operation, including the fan base. I get it though. The most important thing's the team, and he's setting the tone for the team. And as long as that part of it's good, then it's probably fine. Now, understand, Cass, I'm not.
Well, then you
being
should have
over.
kept Mike Riley
I'm
for
not-
the press conference. You should have kept him on staff.
I'm not being overly
Hired him
critical.
as the press conference coach,
Cass,
and then you guys would
press
win the
conference
national
coach.
championship.
Cass, I wasn't
like,
being- Hey,
you do
hey.
every offseason in recruiting. Holy cow!
I'm not being
I mean, the hypocrisy. It's astounding.
No, it's not.
Absolutely
It's
astounding.
not.
I mean, you had Mike Riley hugging guys in press conferences, and you couldn't beat a 1AA team. Now you got a guy who has to rebuild this place
right
after the debacle.
Right.
I mean, that's trending. I mean, Eichhorst and Riley following that. Are you kidding me?
I got you.
So,
I hear you.
I'm all for, and here's the thing.
Okay.
It's a slow week. If we're talking about a coach's press conference, I think Coach Frost is doing some things right. I mean, it's game week, man. I mean, how about maybe he's locked in? Maybe he's serious. Like, maybe isn't this what we were looking for?
Yes.
Like Jake said, didn't we talk about, hey, put up or shut up? People are tired of him talking about
that's true.
practices
Yeah.
and the best part. What do you want him to say? Yeah, we stink.
Amen,
I have no
brother.
idea how we're going to
Amen.
win this game. This is the worst week of practice we ever had. I mean, what do you want the guy to say, man? And quite frankly, I can tell you, being on the practice field, doing those interviews, sitting in staff rooms, being in the locker room, being in the arena, you really don't care what the media says. The only thing you care about is when they start getting on your players. That's it.
Okay.
So when you're talking about setting the tone, coaches are setting the tone for the players. I mean,
All right.
period, end of story.
All right,
So
Cass.
this whole team spokesman for who? Setting the tone for the fans? Why don't you set the tone for the fans?
Because they
Write
don't care.
something positive
Because
every
they don't
once in a
care.
while.
Because they don't care what I have to say compared to Frost, right? I mean, you understand
Obviously
that.
they do. But you know what? I'm surprised. I'm sure Sam. This is
Hold
Sam's
on.
probably saying this is us against the world mentality, right? That's coming next. That's coming next from the media. Omaha World Herald, us against the world. Oh my God! It's comical. It's actually, but you know what? It's game week.
Yeah.
I feel more confident than I ever have that Nebraska's going to go in there and kick the hell out of Illinois.
I feel good about it too now.
I'm hedging that. Coach Holtz used to say this right before kickoff. He'd say, hey guys, it doesn't have to be close. We keep talking about it's going to be close, this and that. This is Nebraska. You're going to Champaign, Illinois. Okay? What's Nebraska supposed to do? So let's start talking about that. Let's get some confidence.
Yeah.
Let's go to Illinois. Let's hedge. It ain't going to be close. Write it down, Sip.
Okay. All right.
Cass, let's go.
Kaz,
Light
let's
it
go.
up,
I mean,
baby.
that's
Light it
very
up.
interesting. All right. Black shirts were awarded yesterday, Kaz. You coached
Yeah.
black shirts. You coached them. What did that day mean to you? What did you see? What did you soak in from that type of thing?
Well, I mean, it was important. What you soaked in is what you were a part of. I think the big thing that we tried to do is explain the meaning behind it. It wasn't necessarily who got it. It was more what the black shirt stood for, and that responsibility. And that was another thing that now that I'm on my high horse venting about the media when I was there. Bo didn't get enough credit for how he felt about the traditions and how important they were to him there also. There was this mantra that like he didn't care about black shirts, he didn't care about this. Bo was huge on that, man. We would have staff meetings on that and talking about that and explaining, and we would go by position and talk about the guys who were awarded black shirts. It was a big deal. But it wasn't necessarily about who got them. It was about what the black shirt meant.
Mm-hmm.
That was the important thing. It's a huge day for me. I mean, here's a guy that grew up watched a college football fan, and George Kelly, who was at Notre Dame when I was there, who went and actually purchased the black shirts when he was on Coach Devaney's staff, and now here I'm able to pass them out. And that was a huge deal. So and I know Jake and Sip, you guys were talking about when they're passed out.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that Coach Osborne did, follow that tradition because it worked out pretty good. So So I think passing them out before the season is the right thing to do.
Okay.
Kaz, okay, you and I are on the same page. I've been concerned about Illinois for a long time, but I feel like the last week or so I've been changing my tone to I'm feeling comfortable about it and confident. With that being said, you expect Nebraska to win comfortably. Do you expect to see a pissed off team to start the game, Kaz? Why do you feel so confident in that assessment?
Absolutely, because you know what I saw yesterday? I saw a pissed off coach. You know what? I saw a coach yesterday that said enough's enough. I saw a coach being a head coach, coaching football, not having to worry about anything else. And I think that's what it's even more important about Trev Alberts being the AD now. Like, he gets it. His football coach needs to coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I think that's what you're seeing this camp. I think what you're seeing from the staff. I think that's what you're seeing from the players, man.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I think they're pissed off. I think they're ready to go, man. You're going to be playing on national TV week 0. And I know you don't let this creep in. You don't need motivation if you're a college football player. But you know what? There's so much negativity and so much doubt. I guarantee those players are hearing that. And, they are a talented team. They are a veteran team. And it sounds like guys are holding guys accountable. I mean, I'm fired up for Nebraska. I think they're going to go in there and just take care of business. I would be absolutely stunned if they weren't fired up to play from start to finish at Illinois.
But,
I guarantee. I mean,
I hope so.
I would be absolutely shocked.
How much, though, Kaz? I mean, this team had a lot of problems with turnovers last year, a lot with penalties, a lot of problems on special teams. Can that stuff just go away over the course of one off season, or be drastically reduced over the course of one off season?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, these guys are coaching, and it's been emphasized. And let's not talk about that. It's a new season. Last season has absolutely nothing to do with this season. It's a brand new season. All right. Now, hey, don't make me a liar, Coach Frost. And that's what people.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, you got to go. This is your program, man. I mean, gosh, what? I mean, quit trying to find something wrong. I remember Coach Osborne said that to me. Some of the best advice I ever got as a coach. It was after UCLA. In 2012, he came out to practice like a great AD should, talked to our team, talked to the staff. He came by my office and he says, "Hey, you're getting after those guys. They needed it." I said, "Yeah, those guys, I said, I got to clean some things up." He said, "You got some really good guys." He goes, "Catch them doing something right every once in a while, Coach." I said, "Got it." He winked at me, smiled. I got the picture right there. So, Sip, how about you catch Coach Frost and his staff and these players doing something right every once in a while?
Kaz, you also call me the biggest coach apologist in the state. So, it works both ways, right?
I'm just game week, man.
I know. You're wonderful.
We want to sit here all week and talk about how Brett Bielema's going to run all up over
Perfect.
us. And,
No.
Hey, we got guys, too. We got scholarship players, too.
That's right.
I mean, come on, man.
Like
you got to start thinking that way,
Yeah,
man.
you and Jake.
You can't let doubt. You can't let doubt sink into that psyche, man. You got to have confidence. You got to have confidence going in there, man. What a great opportunity for Nebraska.
It is.
I mean, what a hell of an opportunity.
It is. So you and Jake are calling a decisive Nebraska win. Decisive Nebraska win. Right?
Doesn't have to be close, man.
Yeah, I'd like it to be decisive. I'm hoping that's the case. I feel better about it than I did 2 weeks ago. Today.
Okay.
Kaz, always great stuff. Thank you for the time. Enjoy the game Saturday, and we will discuss more with you again.
Good job,
next week.
Kaz. Good job.
Thanks. If they lose, I'm not coming on next Tuesday.
Won't answer the phone. All right,
we'll
Kaz.
see it. We'll talk later. See.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Rick Kaczynski, former Nebraska defensive line coach. Man, was he jacked up this morning?
Yeah.
Just like me.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
You guys
are in step right now.
Yeah, you guys are exactly on the same page.
Yes, we are.
Oh, he kind of lit things up today.
I love him, man. He's fired up. Yeah. That's a football coach right there. Yeah. It's a guy that says, "Oh my gosh, it's game week. I'm fired up." We're talking about a press conference. I should be pissed off.
You guys are kind of pulling me to your side a little bit. Again, I'm sort of in the middle.
I'm surprised you weren't all the way
Harry,
there.
Don't. Come
I'm
on, Harry.
surprised you weren't all the way there when I started talking this morning.
I know the middle's not a good place to be on a talk radio show. I'm a little bit in the middle-ish, but I'm kind of starting to lean your way a little bit. I don't. What are you hearing? What do people say?
Oh boy, people were. That was a very popular appearance for Kaz. Here's some response. Hell yeah, my man Kaz. Sip just got his lips split by Kaz early on.
I did.
Get Sip some burn cream. Kaz just scalded him.
Yeah, I got scalded a little bit.
Hell yeah, Kaz. Kaz for president. Hey, Sip, boom, roasted.
Yeah, I got roasted. I got scalded.
Give it to
My
him,
lips are
Kaz.
split.
Go, Kaz, on the text line.
Oh, God.
Here we go. It's more. I love Kaz and his perspective. Reality says Kaz is so right and so wrong. It ain't negativity. He's been cognizant of the product. He said, has he been cognizant of the product to this point?
Has who been cognizant?
Has Kaz been cognizant?
Yeah, I mean, there's that element of it. I mean, now hold on.
Okay, all right.
Just hold on,
We're
Jake.
We're holding.
And Kaz, and I'm sure Kaz is listening right now. Kaz, I mean, Nebraska's 12-20 under Frost and has had a lot of issues. Now you say the media's been all over him, negative. Well, yeah, I mean, if we're not, then we're getting criticized for not being critical and negative. So these are just what happens when a program struggles is the conversations just all get sort of ugly and awkward, right?
Yes.
All of them.
Yeah, it has been.
All of them.
Buffet Son says, let's have Kaz on for a full hour once a week during football season. I'd take that in a heartbeat. Kaz, if you can commit to an hour, sign me the hell up for that one.
Yeah. Well, he would love to do it, but he has another job.
Well, the job can wait for one day. It's a one-day thing. It's
well,
Tuesdays.
and he probably doesn't want to.
Tuesdays with Kaz.
He might want a little reimbursement.
I'm sure that we can get that sponsored pretty easily. A week, an hour with Kaz. That was great. Thank you. If you missed any of that, just tuning in, check out the podcast page. Rick Kaczynski, superb today and in step with me, baby. Let's go. Song of the day is up next on Early Break in the Ticket. Last thing before break, guys. Hey, I've been telling you for a long time about my friends at Craft Axe Throwing. Well, they've got some special things for the fall, including College Day on September 1st. They're relaunching College Night for the new year. That's $15 an hour with a valid college ID every Wednesday, plus National Girls Night September 22nd, and Glow Throw coming up. That's a date, too, to be determined still in September, but probably in the middle of the month. We'll give you updates as that comes along. Don't forget, league starting September 14th. Signups are live on the website at craftaxethrowing.com. And also, a chance to be on ESPN. They've got around 10 people within the company who will be throwing for the World Championships coming up in September. Again, it's all at Craft Axe Throwing. Make sure to always call to rent a lane at 402-802-9696 or go online to craftaxethrowing.com. That's all at Craft Axe Throwing. New specials for the fall at 18th and N in Lincoln.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Everyone loves a good deal, and there's plenty of great options right now at Brown Shoe Fit for their summer clearance sale. Check out their multiple sizes and widths in sandals with brands like Clark's, Keen, Atrex, and many more. Hurry in for the best selection because this sale only goes to the end of the month. It's the summer clearance sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training in almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the summer with peaches and cream cheese. Great on any bagel. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations. Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsurancenE.com.
Need a better job? Looking for a career? Gaina Trucking and Excavating is what you're looking for. They are a rapidly growing company looking for a heavy mechanic. Gaina Trucking and Excavating offers a team culture with lots of benefits, including 401k, health, annual raises, paid vacation, holidays, and much more. It's a great career opportunity. Want to love what you do? Join the Gaina Trucking team. Apply online at www.gainatrucking.com. That's www.gainatrucking.com.
New owners means new lunch specials at the Fox Bar and Grill. They've just introduced tons of options on their new under $10 lunch menu. Small nachos grande, a classic cheeseburger, 4 boneless or traditional wings and fries, or a small single topping pizza for just $5 each. Try the mushroom Swiss burger or the pepper jack stack burger for just $6. And for just $7, try any of the classic steak Philly, club wrap, grilled chicken salad, or grilled southwestern salad. It's the under $10 lunch menu at the Fox Bar and Grill, just south of 14th and Pine Lake.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. Week 0 scores are in while other high school teams are getting ready to suit up for their first game. The Lincoln North Star Navigators secured their first win in their season opener against Hastings, 23-14. After being down by as much as 14 due to turnovers, they rallied back in the second half for the win. In other Week 0 matchups, Cross County came out against Blue Hill 86-8. Laurel Concord Courage beat Homer 62-0, and Sandy Creek came out on top against Schuyler 24-0. In season openers this week on Friday, Lincoln High will face Lincoln North Star, Fremont will play at Lincoln Northeast, Gretna will play at Lincoln Southwest. On Thursday, in their season openers, Lincoln Pius will play at Lincoln East. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
You love to bash his sports takes.
Now, will you feel like an idiot if you're
No,
a big tough?
never feel like an
If
idiot.
you're a big tough guy this morning,
But you really love to voice your displeasure for his music choices.
he stumbled on an issue that I did not think would generate this much passion and discussion.
It's time for Jake's questionable song of the day on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
To my surprise, this 100 stories high. People getting loose, y'all. They're getting down on the roof to hear. The funk was flaming out of control. It was so entertaining. When the boogie started to explode, I heard somebody say, let's go Inferno, burn the mother down.
Song of the day, Disco Inferno by the Tramps, 464-56851. 1 is bad, 10 is good. Text your rating on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day.
Till I had the self-destruct. He was on, rising to the top. Everybody going strong. That is when my spot got hot. I heard somebody say, it's going final. Burning that mother down, y'all. It's going final.
Woo! Bring the heat. Song of the day, Disco Inferno from the 70s. The Tramps there. 464-56851 is bad. 10 is good. Text your rating on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day.
Now you're on a bit of a run. That would okay. So it was Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
What was the song yesterday?
Hey Joe. Hey
Okay,
Joe.
so you played Jimmy yesterday.
That was 9.8.
Yeah, that in the Tramps today.
Yeah.
Disco Inferno was that's got to be 70s, right?
Oh, that's for
Is it
sure
70s? Is
70s.
it
For
70s?
sure.
Yeah, that's
70s.
a staple 70s song. And
Is that possible to dislike that song?
No,
I don't think so.
No, it's. I was just going to
Let's
say.
see what Harrison says, I guess. But
Yeah, Harrison.
We'll get to him.
Hey,
We'll get to him in a
Harrison.
second.
Hey, Harrison. That's the 70s. That's the kind of music that you don't hear anymore.
That you need to hear.
And I regard that with sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why isn't anybody making music like that anymore? Like original music like that. That is incredible music. There's
great
no
song.
way it's under a 9. But I'd stick in the low 9s. I'm going to go 9.1.
That's still a good grade.
Yeah.
Anything above a 9 is a great score.
Yeah, that's incredible music.
All right.
I mean, I found myself, you know what I found myself the other day? Something hit me like a brick. I like the Bee Gees. I just came to grips with it.
Well,
just came
weren't
to
you
grips with
against
it.
that for a while?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like I had played them before and you kind of rolled your eyes. But this is
I
obviously
don't like all the Bee Gees, but
Yeah, okay. All right.
But yeah, there's songs I'm like, man, that's incredible music. But anyway, that's a 9.1. We got to see what. Okay, now Harrison's 22.
22.
22. That's not in his wheelhouse at all. I mean,
I thought I saw him bobbing his head at one point today,
okay, yeah.
which gives me hope that he gave it a respectable score.
He gave Jimmy a 6.5.
Is that what it was yesterday?
Yeah, I think he gave Jimmy a 6.5.
All right. So the guest today, he has not gone above a 7 yet, and I don't think he is there either.
I don't think he will.
Let's go with a 6.3.
Okay.
You got it right yesterday with
yeah,
him. I think you had the
yeah,
score right on.
Yeah, I think he's right in that range. I'm going to say he gave it a 6.1.
Oh no. Oh no. See, the problem I have with the scores is his reasoning. It says 2.5 before my time. That was before my time, Harrison. I love that song. I'm 30. I'm not 50 years old.
You can like music before you're
right. There was some great 60s music, Harrison. And 80s music and 90s. I was barely alive in the 90s.
I mean, Elvis was before my time, and I liked Elvis. Come on.
Yeah, Harrison. It doesn't have to be from your time of being alive to be good
Harrison,
music.
Did you just not like the song?
Oh,
You didn't.
I just
I
don't-
love
I just-
Harrison.
I don't-
very honest.
I don't understand.
He's extremely honest. We got another very honest.
We do, yeah. Okay, here. Let's get some ratings. Then we'll get to top of the hour because we're behind time as usual. 6, 9.2, 10, 6, 4. Hippie Jake. Is that a hippie song?
No, it's disco.
Disco, yeah.
Studio 54.
James T. Quirk says that's a lot of funk for 7 a.m. Maybe too much. 6.2.
Funk.
Rod says that's an 8. Ross says, a little tribute from Kaz to Sip. Burn, baby, burn. 8 out of 10. Nice pick, young
boy.
Jake.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 8.2 from Kent. I lipped it in for par, apparently. 8.2 from Brown Magic. 5 from Tetzer. Disco sucks, he says. Negative 1.5 from Eric. Doc says a 9. East Lincoln West an 8.3. Skittles an 8. 9.5. They just keep coming in. 8.5 from Mike in Kansas. 9.8. Someone says, can you feel the burn? Sip. Greg in Myrtle Beach.
Hey, Harrison, quit smiling.
Greg in Myrtle Beach says solid 9. Hell yes. House band at Diamond Disco Myrtle Beach.
Oh, is that Greg? Hello, Greg. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Greg. 8 from somebody. 8.9, 8.5. There's a million ratings today. Thank you. And there we go. Another 8.8. Thank you for all the ratings today.
That was good. You're on a little bit of a roll.
I am. I am locked in right now. I am like Frost yesterday at the press conference, but I'm talking more than that. I'm not short and sweet.
Do we have to go to a break, or do I
Yeah.
got time to tell you something?
You can tell me something.
Okay.
What do you got?
Okay, now hold on. We can talk
How long
about
is it
this.
gonna go for?
We
'Cause we're way behind
1 minute.
time.
1 minute.
Okay,
1
yeah,
minute.
1 minute's fine.
Frost. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it this way. Frost had a tone-setting quote yesterday, not in his press conference. He had a tone-setting quote that you could see on the Husker account on the Husker Twitter account when he was awarding the black shirts. He had a quote that sets the tone for the season, and we'll get to that.
Oh, how about that for a tease?
And we'll get it set. It's a tone-setting guideline quote for the entire season.
We will discuss that and more next. Top of the hour, an early break in the ticket.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the summer with peaches and cream cheese. Great on any bagel. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The heat and humidity in full force once again today. A heat advisory in effect this afternoon. Actual temps near 100. It will feel more like 105 with a south wind at 15. Slight chance of storms this evening. A low dropping down to 71. Just a touch cooler tomorrow with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Brokers Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Brokers Insurance Agency name. Brokers Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
Uncle Tim, some friends and I are getting together this weekend. Can you buy us some alcohol?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Come on, it'll be low-key. My friends always say you're cooler than other adults.
Oh, well, all right. But don't let your mother find out and don't get caught. Hello, officer. What can I help you with?
Are you the uncle of Samantha?
Yes. Is she okay?
You're under arrest for procuring alcohol from minors. One of the minors drove drunk and killed the mother of 2 last night in a crash. You're looking at up to 3 years in jail and a $10,000 fine.
Don't make the same mistake he did. We need you to be the responsible adult. Underage drinking, adult consequences. There's no free ride if you provide. Learn more at projectextramile.org.
Sponsored by Region 6, Nebraska DHHS, and SAMHSA. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Century Electric is now hiring for experienced licensed electricians. This position will serve around the Lincoln area on both commercial and residential jobs. Century Electric is well established with 40 years in operation. It offers a substantial hiring bonus as well as tons of benefits. For more information or to apply, go online to centuryelectric.com and click the Careers tab or call them at 402-467-5550. Come work for a great company today with Century Electric, whose commitment is always to their customers.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake. Brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake. Sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Welcome back to Hour 2 on a Tuesday. Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, an early break. I'd say it's been a very fun and spicy show so far. If you missed any of it so far, if you're just tuning in and you don't listen to the first hour on podcast, I'm telling you, today I check out the podcast. It's been fun and spicy. Rick Kaczynski was tremendous at 6:30 today, just tremendous today, and he lit you up like a firecracker.
It wasn't that good.
He lit you up like a firecracker. That was awesome.
Kaz really came out strong in support of the head coach, Scott Frost, which I'm glad to hear.
As
that.
I did too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should.
Kaz joined myself in the praising of Scott.
And I got to tell you, it's kind of nice to hear you support the head coach. What's going on? Somebody just walked in.
We'll deal with it in a second. We're good. We're good. So yeah, if you can watch the show as always on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Call or text the show at 464-5685. The show is sponsored by Gaina Trucking. Do you want to tease the quote you had from Scott Frost from yesterday?
Yes. The thing I was thinking about is this. Well, okay, so when he awarded the black shirts. This was not during the press conference, Jake. This was. I think he gave them out after practice. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, maybe I'm making too much of this, but he said this thing was built on. He told the team this thing was built on black shirts and the pipeline. This mission that we start Saturday has to be led by the black shirts and the pipeline. I thought that was really meaningful.
Well, I think it's very accurate. I mean, if you're looking at this team, we want a team that's physical, that is tough, that brings a tough demeanor. And the black shirts, this team needs to have good defense.
I'm talking mostly about the pipeline.
Black shirts is part of it. Pipeline also, we know it's very important. This offensive line, if you want to set a tone of actually being a downhill running team that actually can get yards and first downs on the ground. Yeah, the pipeline's incredibly important. And I think they're very aware of that. How could you not be? This is a guy that when he was a player here at Nebraska, the pipeline was incredibly important, and they won a lot of football games. It wasn't just because of them, but it was a very big part of the success. I mean, the guy looks around, he sees Iowa getting first-round picks on the offensive line in Wisconsin, first-round picks. And last year, Northwestern, a first-round pick in Rashawn Slater, realizing it's important to establish the trenches, win the trenches.
This mission, Frost told his team yesterday, that we start Saturday has to be led by the black shirts and the pipeline. I love that. Now, Jake, I really love it, especially the pipeline part. Because it sort of says to me, what? It says to me that this is a team that wants to run the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what it says to you? Isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it does say that to me.
I like that he identified those two things. I felt a lot of confidence reading that about the future of the. Not overwhelmed by confidence about the future of the program, but I somehow felt a little bit better about it that the head coach verbalized that. I love the pipeline talk. It's got to start there. It has to. And the black shirts.
Yeah, both of them. Incredibly important.
Yeah. This
This
is a good day for Frost, I feel like. He's getting a lot of support.
That makes me extremely happy to hear those words being uttered.
He's in it. Truthfully, it makes me. I feel good that people are supporting Frost today. That they kind of got his back.
Mm-hmm.
Kaz has his back. You have his back.
I got his back.
The text line has his back.
They do.
I like it. And I like it coupled with that mission statement he said. The pipeline thing, the pipeline part of it, more than the black shirts to me is important for him to verbalize that. Now it's interesting. It's interesting to me because he puts a little. Now, if you're Greg Austin today, you're like, okay, all right, he's putting it on our back.
Well, good. Feel some pressure. Yeah, you've got a unit that there are some young players, obviously, there. I mean, Turner Corcoran, when he plays, is young, doesn't have a lot of experience, but we like what he has to offer. Cam Jurgens is not that young anymore, but he's not old either. Ben Hart's still pretty young. He played 1 year. But these are guys that have experience. They played. This isn't a bunch. I mean, right guard will be a new face compared to last year. But you've got 4 players that did play. Corcoran at least played 1 game last year, but you feel like he is a very talented player who can make a difference at left tackle. But in terms of what they are capable of doing and what they should do, I hope Greg Austin feels that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he does.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you coach your best when your back's against the wall a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
And if that was a wake-up call to Greg Austin, and I don't think it was meant to be any sort of problem, or any sort of negative message sent to
not
Greg
at all.
Austin.
Not at all.
But I hope that, I really hope on Saturday, we're talking about an offense that is moving the ball with ease, and it's led by a dominant offensive line.
Yeah. Well, hold on. All due respect, do you expect them to be dominant, Jake?
Well, as dominant as you can be. How about this? Winning the trenches more often than not.
Yes.
You're not gonna win every play. You're gonna have negative plays, but can you obviously win?
Okay. Yeah.
In the trenches more often than not. Is that too much to ask for?
No, I don't think. But I don't think we should. Yeah. I'm just saying we shouldn't get carried away here, right? I don't. Jake, come on. Dominant in the trenches. Jake, dominant in the trenches. Come on. I don't. I mean,
I want.
I'd like to see it
rephrase and say win more often than not in the trenches. How about is that too much?
Absolutely
to
not.
ask for. I don't
Absolutely
think so.
not.
I hope not.
Okay, so
what are we looking at here?
So now we kind of evolve into an offensive identity discussion. And I don't know if you heard Ethan Piper yesterday. He's the starting left guard. And what he said, and I wrote this, that run the ball guys, ears surely perked
Here
up.
we go. I got it.
When he
right
was
here.
asked about what he hoped would be Nebraska's offensive identity
Here
in
it is.
2021.
4 or 5 yards of play. We're going to go downhill. We're going to move the ball. And when we move the ball, we're going to be able to pass on them. So I think our biggest identity is just moving the line of scrimmage 2 yards in every single play and being able to give Adrian time to throw. So just hard-nosed football.
Well, then that's sort of in line with what you said. If they're moving a line of scrimmage 2 yards every time, that's dominant.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking
that's
about.
the goal. That's the goal.
He's
for
got
sure.
the same goal as me.
Yeah, for sure. The goal is dominant. And I like the fact. Now think about what's happening right now, Jake. Think about what's happening. Frost tells the team that the mission state, that the mission is we're going to get behind the black shirts in the pipeline. Ethan Piper's talking about the identity being we're going to be a downhill team. I'm telling you, I think this is going to look a little different now. Am I wrong about this? Remember last year what we said against Illinois, what it looked like. It was Luke McCaffrey running the ball 26 times. After that, it was Wan'Dale Robinson running it 7. I don't think that's what it's going to look like on Saturday. I think there's going to be some big running backs running behind a big line. It's not going to be all that. Frost isn't going to change everything. But when you say we're going to get behind the pipeline,
Let's go.
What's that suggest to you?
We're running the ball.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's just what it suggests. Now, also, though, it requires some patience, right? It requires some patience on the part of Frost, the play caller. Because if they're not, now think about it, Illinois is going to be whipped up in a frenzy. Those players are going to be in a frenzy. New coach, playing in a full stadium. The defense is going to come out firing for Illinois. You might not, Jake. What if on the first couple plays, you get nothing? You get stonewalled. What if on the next series, you're getting nothing? When I'm talking about patience, I'm talking about the ability to stay with it, right?
Yeah.
Hold in there. Stay with it. Don't go away from it. You got to keep hammering. you got to think Illinois is going to be in a frenzy, right? Those, they might run a basic pitch play that gets nothing. Got to keep going. Got to keep hammering away. Punt. I mean, if you got to punt it. But what I always say is that mentality, that run the ball downhill mentality, it's not always going to work. Derrick Henry doesn't have 190 yards every game. Every first quarter is not a big one for Derrick Henry. But what's Tennessee do? They keep hammering.
They do. They sure do.
Yeah, they keep
hammering. They know it's going to work eventually. Yeah. Rarely does it not work with Derrick Henry running the ball.
Right.
So I love it. I love the fact that he said that. We would love to have an offensive line that just plays here's the thing. We've seen the offensive line show up in moments in the past, but they're inconsistent. They've had some great drives, some great plays, and then they just fall apart. You can't play a perfect 4 quarters. No offensive line can do that. But can you play a pretty dang good 4 quarters, start to finish? Can you set a tone, establish that tone, and keep the tone going through halftime, through the break, and through the 4th quarter? Is that too much to ask for?
No.
Those guys should want to set the tone, right? Don't you want? What offensive line doesn't want to set the tone in a football game?
Of course they do.
We want to pummel the defensive line, the linebackers, and move them around.
But want to is different than being able to.
Understand?
And that they maybe Frost feels like they got it now. Now those guys have been going in all camp against what I think is going to be a very good defensive line. Right?
Yes. Okay. So you said that was Ethan Piper we played about his hope for the offensive identity. Here's Adrian Martinez's answer to the same question from yesterday, what he hopes the offense's identity is this year.
They were smart, disciplined. Adrian didn't turn over the ball, not even one time. In all seriousness, though, we're going to be a hard-nosed team, and I'm excited to get out there and prove that. We're going to be a team that's disciplined, that's not going to shoot ourselves in the foot, and do the things that we're supposed to do and what Coach wants us to do.
If that's the case, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, if they don't cause themselves their own problems and their own worst enemy, then it's going to be easier to score in football games and not be coming from behind, hopefully.
That's the other part. Now think about the conversation, Jake. This is fascinating. If they're going to run the ball like we think more often, conventional running game is what we're talking about. That means longer drives. You know what that means? More plays. You know what that means? More opportunity for turnovers. Now you hope that you get some big chunk plays or you hope you see Sevion Morrison running away from a safety in a corner on a long run.
Yes.
Then you don't have to worry about driving down the field.
Right.
You probably have some big play receivers now that can get chunk plays. You don't have to have a 10 play drive to the end zone. Think about how often do you see college teams go on 10 play 80-yard drives without a big mistake? It doesn't happen very often. It just does.
In there somewhere.
Penalty, turnover, something goes wrong. You just don't see.
I'm sure this team still wants to have big plays. They talked about it earlier in camp about practicing big plays, but establishing a run game that's consistent will soften up the defense and give you a chance to play action deep or RPO deep, possibly. That's the hope here. Is that you can give us something. Just give us something more than quarterback run. I love Adrian. I hope he runs the football, but it needs to be more than him and a running back a receiver like Wandale was for Nebraska.
Right. I think. Listen, you got to run Adrian at times, right? And I don't know what the sweet spot is. I know what it's not. It's not 26 times against Illinois. Luke McCaffrey ran 26 times. That's not what okay, let's put it this way. What are the chances that Adrian runs it 26 times against Illinois? I'd say it's 0%.
I'd say if it happens, it's not a good sign for this team.
It's a terrible sign.
It's a very bad sign.
Yeah. I mean, something
went horribly wrong.
Right. Or something went incredibly right and he runs 26 times for 300 yards. They just can't stop running.
Right. That's also a positive.
Right. I just don't see it, though. I just don't think that's not the mentality they have now. I think there's a mentality shift. I think that's why Saturday needs to get here because we need to see what it looks like.
Yeah, there's a lot of curiosity for us in terms of what, again, we don't have a depth chart yet. What were your thoughts on that? No depth chart released for Nebraska yesterday. Does that bother you at all? Or
No,
is that
I almost feel like I have to apologize for this.
okay?
But no, it doesn't bother me in the least.
Why do you have to apologize for that?
Because I think, as some people would say, well, as a media member, don't you think you want to know everything? I don't need to see a depth chart because I'm going to see the game on Saturday and I'm going to see who plays.
Right. You have eyes.
Right. I
You
don't
can see things.
I never need a depth chart. I mean, it's nice to have those names in front of you, but it's not imperative. Okay. It's definitely not imperative to me. It's people, but I get it. People get kind of fixated on it. They want to have those names in front of them. I'll see the game. I'll know who's in the starting lineup.
Is it completely necessary? Do you need that?
No, and if I were a coach, I would not, especially a coach going into a game against a team like Illinois that has a new coaching staff, and there's going to be a lot of unknowns in preparation. Why show them your starters? I mean, there's some guys for Nebraska that could surprise them a little bit, right? They don't know what's coming at them at running back right now. And receiver, there's no, I just wouldn't put it out if I were a coach.
From our good friend Greg in Myrtle Beach on the text line 464-5685. Greg says Scott's brash, tough mentality showed as a player. He has to show it now in his team. My concern is he lacks the top flight staff to teach and develop that. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I mean, my thoughts.
Can the staff develop tough mentality, brash, tough mentality?
My thought is they went 13-0 at UCF with this staff, and they beat Auburn, an SEC team, with this staff. So that would be my thought. Now, that's fine. The Big Ten's a different animal, but you heard Kaz say something that's really important. Now I'm not going to do this thing where we go back in time. It's year 4 now, and it's time to operate. But they had they walked into a horrible situation here. They did. And we don't need to discuss that at length, but we always have to keep that part in mind. I'm not blaming Riley for what happened last year. I'm not doing that. But this is a build. And it's gone slower than anybody, including Frost, wants it to go.
464-5685, call or text as always. Regarding your talk about patience with the offense and committing to running the ball. Texter says, I'll believe the patience when I see it. Frost will panic and start throwing stupid bubble screens.
Well, I get it.
That would be
I think patience is the critical.
Disturbing.
I think patience is a critical part of this discussion. I really do, because I've seen it before. I saw it when Nebraska was at its peak when they played good teams. It wasn't always just pitch the ball to Lawrence and get 7 yards. I mean, I can remember a game at Kansas State when they had the Terminator, and it wasn't like. I mean, they leaned hard on Lawrence, but it wasn't like he was getting 8 yards a shot. It was tough. It was tough sledding. That happened when Nebraska played good teams. It wasn't always 5.5 yards a carry, and we're rolling.
I know.
No, it was 3 and out at times. Okay. Then 3 and out again, and then 3 and out again. Okay. That's trouble, but we got to keep, this is who we are. We got to stick with it. That's what I'm interested in with Frost. Can he do that? Will he do that? Is he willing? Will he just?
I think he can. But
yeah.
Will he?
Yeah.
Is the big question.
Yeah.
Keep the text coming 464-5685. When we come back, we'll talk to Husker Online's Robin Washut on early break in the ticket.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raise, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. Week 0 scores are in while other high school teams are getting ready to suit up for their first game. The Lincoln North Star Navigators secured their first win in their season opener against Hastings, 23-14. After being down by as much as 14 due to turnovers, they rallied back in the second half for the win. In other Week 0 matchups, Cross County came out against Blue Hill 86-8. Laurel Concord Coleridge beat Homer 62-0, and Sandy Creek came out on top against Schuyler 24-0. In season openers this week on Friday, Lincoln High will face Lincoln North Star, Fremont will play at Lincoln Northeast, Gretna will play at Lincoln Southwest. On Thursday, in their season openers, Lincoln Pius will play at Lincoln East. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
The heat and humidity in full force once again today. A heat advisory in effect this afternoon. Actual temps near 100. It will feel more like 105 with a south wind at 15. Slight chance of storms this evening. A low dropping down to 71. Just a touch cooler tomorrow with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Don't settle for living with pain and discomfort. The therapy experts at Madonna Therapy Plus have enhanced safety protocols in place and are ready right now to help you return to health. Feeling good is vital to your overall well-being. Therapy Plus is open in Omaha and Lincoln for comprehensive physical, speech, and occupational therapy, all with enhanced in-person safety plus new telehealth options. So don't let wellness wait. Learn more and schedule an appointment at therapyplus.madonna.org.
Century Electric is now hiring for experienced licensed electricians. This position will serve around the Lincoln area on both commercial and residential jobs. Century Electric is well established with 40 years in operation. It offers a substantial hiring bonus as well as tons of benefits. For more information or to apply, go online to centuryelectric.com and click the careers tab or call them at 402-467-5550. Come work for a great company today with Century Electric, whose commitment is always to their customers.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the summer with peaches and cream cheese. Great on any bagel. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations.
This
good morning, little brother.
is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's been a very fun show so far. If you missed any of the show, check out the podcast at theticketfm.com.
Wild day.
Yeah, it's been very, very wild. Rick Kaczynski was wild in the first hour, and
things are happening.
Let's see if Robin Washington's wild now. Husker Land's Robin Washington joins us. Good morning, Robin. Are you feeling wild this morning like our show?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right.
I'm ready to make it exponentially more wild.
Let's do it. I love it. All right. Well, let's start off with yesterday at the press conference. Scott Frost spoke for about 5.5 minutes, which is not very long for most of his press conferences. What was your take on the tone and just the whole session for Scott Frost?
I mean, it was a little weird just because it was the, season opening Monday press conference. Usually those are full of optimism and all that stuff. And, even some of the questions that were pretty softball, asking him to just praise one of his guys, were met with pretty short answers. And it was pretty obvious that was by design. Obviously, Scott had an intent to not say much or go out of his way to, really say anything more than he needed to. And, he's not the only coach that has ever done anything like that. Obviously took a page out of the Belichick playbook there and kept everything short and sweet. I mean, I guess compared to like previous coaching staffs here, like that was pretty tame compared to some of the other stuff we've experienced. So I wasn't like, disturbed by it or anything like that, but it was definitely interesting that was the tone he wanted to set in the very first Monday press conference of the season.
Robin Washut joins us from HuskerOnline.com. Now, Robin, I'm 55, so I'm not on social media as much as you and Jake probably. How much discussion was there about this Frost press conference yesterday? What was your perception?
Well, I mean, our message boards and Twitter, which you got to take those things for what they are. They're very much echo chambers of a lot of times extreme opinions that are not indicative of the entire fan base as a whole. So you always got to keep that in the back of your mind. But it was definitely a topic of conversation. A lot of people going back and forth about either being upset by it or people defending him, saying that that's the way he should be. And so it was kind of more like an argument between the fan base. So it was just another thing for to create more infighting between the fans going into the first game.
But it's something that we're not talking, in a roundabout way. It seems like it takes pressure off the players a little bit in a roundabout way, because we're just talking about Frost now.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's talking about, how important the season is for Adrian Martinez or anything like that. Everybody's talking about the fact that Scott talked for 5 minutes. And so, I think that given the, recent events and the fact that it seems like every time he does say stuff and get honest, he gets, backlash for it. I think he's just kind of chosen the approach where I'm just going to give the most canned, simplistic answers possible and make sure that I don't create any more negative headlines for myself.
Go ahead, Robin Washut. Robin, the tone kind of so far of fall camp all the way through it, even yesterday, was that this team really wants to run the ball. They want to have the offensive line pave the way and commit to running. Do you see that as something they will do, or are you concerned that they will go back to things they've done in the past, which is maybe not so much commitment to the run?
Yeah, they said a lot of the same things last year.
Okay.
I remember when Greg Austin was introduced as the new run game coordinator, the whole preseason spring press conference was about how they were going to find an identity in the run game and be more physical and run between the tackles, and clearly that didn't work out the way they had hoped last season. So I think that certainly the effort and want to accomplish that is there, but we need to see it in the game. We need to see it when it's the first quarter and you're down a touchdown or 2 touchdowns. Are they going to stick with the run, or are they going to revert back to the same stuff we've seen over the last 3 years where it becomes strictly passing in the quarterback run game? I guess I'll wait to see on how true this holds, but certainly they're saying all the right things. I mean, the offensive line seems willing than ever to be a run first power fall camp, and I think that they have enough in that running back room for that position to certainly take a step forward, just with the depth they appear to have. But again, it all looks good on paper, but we need to see not only how they execute in the games, but how much the coaching staff is willing to stick with that identity when the pressure gets turned on and the game situation turn for real.
What are your expectations for Adrian Martinez, Robin? You mentioned him a second ago. What do you expect from him this year?
I mean, it seems like he's in a good spot physically and mentally. I think trimming down the weight is good for him. He needs to be a player that can be dynamic. He doesn't need to be a Tim Tebow type guy where he's all bulked up. Like, he needs to be the type of player he was physically as a freshman, where he's a little bit lighter, but he's more elusive, more explosive, and can operate inside and outside the pocket. So I think that was good for him to get back to more of his natural frame. But then also, I think mentally, he's got a chip on his shoulder. I think he's got a lot that he wants to prove this season, but he's also comfortable in himself enough to where it's not like this animosity filled motivation, to where I think that he's kind of developed a confidence in himself and an expectation for himself that he believes that he's going to have his best season yet. And that's where it starts. I mean, you can have all the pressure from the outside that you want, but if you don't truly believe it, the results are going to remain the same. So I think between the years and then physically, he's in as good of a spot as he's been since he's been at Nebraska. And I think that with the weapons paired around him and hopefully, the game plan to take some of the pressure off his plate, he's able to, really thrive and be the type of player they've been waiting for.
Robin, we didn't get a depth chart yesterday after at the session. I'm curious, when it looks at running back, do you have any idea, any guess right now who gets the first carry that's not Adrian Martinez for Nebraska on Saturday?
Well, up until a couple weeks ago, I would have said Gabe Ervin pretty confidently, but the emergence of Sevion Morrison has kind of changed that for me. The amount of praise he got from pretty much everyone, head coach on down, was pretty noticeable. So, I mean, it would not surprise me if he ends up being the starter. And then obviously, Marquise Steph's certainly in that conversation. But if I had to pick the guy that's going to be out there getting the first carry on Saturday, I'll probably say Sevion Morrison right now, just considering the camp that he had and the amount of praise he's gotten from his coaches. And then the fact that, just like Gabe Ervin, he had a lot of expectations and potential when he got here a year ago and obviously never got off the ground because of injuries and COVID. But, he's the type of player that can be a game changer when healthy. And I think he's finally getting back into that form.
A lot of emphasis is being – Robin Washut joins us from HuskerOnline.com. A lot of emphasis is being put on this game. There seems like there's an incredible amount of anticipation for a variety of reasons. Is there – how much if you were a coach, how much would you be concerned that there's a little too much focus on the opener?
Yeah, you have to balance it. You can't say that this is our national championship and if we lose this game, the season's over.
Right.
It is just the first game of the season. But I think when you get outside of the bubble of the program, it's hard to deny that this carries pretty significant weight in the grand schemes of this program and Scott Frost's tenure here. A win would do so much for everyone involved with Nebraska football, from Scott to the players to the athletic department and into the fan base. People are just starved for something to feel good about, and if they can go on the road and win a Big Ten game in their opener, I don't care if it's Illinois or whoever, that is going to be such a boost in morale and optimism that maybe this might finally be the year. But if they go and lose that game, it sets such a negative tone across the program, across the state, really, that as we've seen, that toxicity can really be tough to overcome. We've seen it get ugly around here before, and this a loss, especially if they look really bad in the process, would be very difficult to bounce back from. So again, it is just one game, but I think it's hard to deny that the significance of this one game is as high as any Scott Frost tenure in Nebraska.
Okay, on that note, Robin, I'm curious because I think people say to themselves before they just want to win the game by 1 point, by 10, by 20, whatever. If they win by 1, if they win by 3 points and it's close to the end and they look like they're average, what's the commentary on Monday following the game?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that will be nitpicking every little aspect of it, but I think most sensible fans, and again, when you get yourself out of the groupthink of Twitter and message boards, most people, they just want to win. Going on again, this is a different opener. It's going on the road against a Big Ten West opponent, and new staff or not, this is a team with 21 super seniors in Illinois that just beat Nebraska in Memorial Stadium a year ago. So a win is a win at this point. Style points mean absolutely nothing. It's all about wins and losses and whether or not you can accomplish your ultimate goal of being on the right side of the scoreboard or not. And you add in the fact that, it does carry the significance of a conference play. I don't think you care if they cover the spread or not. You only care if they come out on top and get that first win. Because, that no matter the score, 1 point, 21 points, that momentum is going to be huge to carry them through this month into Oklahoma and potentially set the entire tone for the season.
Robin, always great stuff. Thanks for the time. Enjoy the game Saturday. We will talk with you again next week.
Sounds good, guys. See you later.
Husker Online's Robin Washut prepared for Saturday's game. He's locked in. He's ready to go.
Yeah, I worry. I cringe a little. He's right when he says it will be in. I've said it too. I said on radio yesterday that with a loss, if Nebraska were to lose this game, it would be.
Don't put it into the ether.
Okay, but would it be incredibly negative, or could we handle it? Jake,
I don't know, man.
Could we?
I don't know if we can handle
Could we,
that.
as a collective, handle it?
You are talking about a fan base that understands how incredibly important this game is. Not because we've been preaching it all offseason long, but because if the goal is to get to a bowl game, this is predicted as the worst team in the division, one of the worst teams in the conference. You lose that off the bat. Who says you beat Buffalo then? You get Oklahoma as a loss, Ben?
Yeah. But I think that's a dangerous mentality to have.
Well, it's a scary game. I'm just telling you right now, if that is the outcome Saturday,
that's scary. It scares me the way you said that.
Be a painful day on Monday and next week.
Jake, it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, maybe it's just my age, but I look at it like, okay, this is a game. Okay. It's just one. What if you lose this game and beat Oklahoma? I mean,
does that seem likely?
No, of course it doesn't seem likely.
You're going to depending on how they look on Saturday. If they win comfortably and they go beat Fordham and Buffalo, there's going to be people that believe they can hang with Oklahoma. And why couldn't they if they're 3-0 and they look good?
I'm just suggesting
a lot that hangs in the balance.
Jake,
here.
I'm just suggesting this. It doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all game. It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It feels like it is to me. That's why I've been saying it since like February. It is the biggest game of the year, and it's the very first game of the college football season for everyone. So, on that note, we're going to play a game ourselves. It's called Shut Up Simple. You can play it by calling it 464-5685. Your chance to win a business box of bagels to Bagels and Joe. Today is college wide receivers. I've looked at some lists across the country. These are all seen as top 10 wide receivers for this upcoming college football season. What schools do they play for? 464-5685. Shut Up Simple starts right now.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then that rage starts to grow inside of you. It starts to consume you. It gets to a point where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play. 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
All right, 464-5685. Call the Dick Down Sip and Trivia. How do you feel today about college football wide receivers this season and their teams?
I feel okay, but am I 23 games under 500?
I think that's the number. Yeah, 53 and 76 would indicate you are 23 games.
I'm troubled. I'm starting to get troubled by the record.
I'm laughing because Harrison has already counted this as a loss. It's Tuesday. He has you at 0-2 on the week, and it's 0-1. It's Tuesday today. I think he's counting this as a loss for you. Quentin, how do you feel about college wide receivers this year?
Yeah, we'll test it out here.
All right, Quentin. First, Quentin. That's not very confident. I'll say that. Quentin, the first question goes to you. What school does wide receiver Marvin Mims play for?
I believe that would be the Boomers at the OU.
We will see him
Marvin
in
Mims.
mid-September.
Marvin Mims.
Marvin Mims is a top 10 receiver.
I wouldn't have got that.
Well, you'll be hearing that name in a few weeks in Norman. All right, for the tie sip, I don't think you'll get this one either, but your first question. What school does Traylon Burks play for? So he is the number 4 best receiver in the country this year.
The number 4, what do you mean number 4 best?
By Pro Football Focus, other different CBS Sports, they all have him like number 4 in terms of best receivers.
He is a Clemson Tiger.
Quentin, do you know where Traylon Burks plays at?
Yeah, he's an SEC. I believe it's Arkansas.
I wouldn't have had that right.
Oh, boy.
So good job, Quentin.
Wait, Arkansas has a receiver like that?
They do. Number 4 in the country, apparently.
Yeah, okay.
For the resounding sweep today, Quentin, your last question. What school does Justin Ross play for?
Justin Ross.
Justin Ross. This is for the win, Quentin.
I'm going to guess USC.
Yep, you say USC. Is that what the guess was?
Yeah, USC.
Sip, you got to go for this one.
Yeah,
any
I'm
chance.
going. He plays for Clemson.
There we go. Wow. How about that for a steal, Justin Ross?
I'm
To
in it.
stay alive, your last
in it.
question, Sip.
I'm in it.
What school does John Mechie III play for?
Oh, Mechie. Oh, you gave me a name I know.
So easy.
Oh, boy.
John Mechie plays for LSU.
No, Alabama.
He will take over Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle's role at Alabama.
Oh, I should have known
Crimson
it.
Tide.
Should have known it.
Quentin, congrats. We get your bagels. Thanks for calling, and call in down the road.
All right, hello. Shut up, Sipple.
Okay, hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
Yeah, he gave us a hello and a
Hello.
shut up. I should have known Michi. I don't have any excuses. I was locked in, too. I was pretty locked in.
Is it Michi? It's pronounced.
See,
it's
that's the thing.
spelled-
I think-
it's spelled Mechie. If I
Yeah.
messed it up, I apologize.
I might have. No, but I can't. I
It's-
wish I
it's- It's METCHIE. If that's Michi, then that's just stunning pronunciation there. But I might be wrong.
I would like to say that derailed me, your mispronunciation. But I don't think I would have.
Is it
gotten
really Michi?
I think it's Michi. Yeah.
With no double E?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's shocking.
I could be. I think it's Michi.
I mean, the fact I'm questioning your pronunciation is understood. But by the way, number 1 and 2 on all these lists, Sip, were both Ohio State. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, number 1 and 2 on all these lists for the top receivers of the 2021 class.
They got both of them.
Both of- number 1 and 2.
And I'd watch Marvin Harrison Jr. closely.
And I think David Bell was number 8 at Purdue.
Okay.
And then Ty Freifogel was number 9 at Indiana. And there's somebody else. There's like 5 of the top 10 were in the Big Ten.
I'm telling you, I think Ohio State comes here November 6th. I'm sticking to my theory. You need an ice storm, Nebraska. Nebraska needs an ice storm. That's what they need.
Run
Ice.
the ball, baby. You want your tiebreaker question? Or not?
Yes, go
Okay. Speaking of Chris Olave, the number 1 receiver on the list. How many receiving touchdowns does Chris Olave have through 3 seasons at Ohio State?
3 seasons.
Yep.
Olave, 21.
Ooh, 22.
Oh.
It's a great guess. It's
Close.
a great guess. Nice work. Congrats to Quentin. You got your butt kicked today, but that's all right. You got 1 question right in a steal. So way to go. Spillover's next. An early break in the ticket.
Another packed fall season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their Cosmic Eye and Glacial Till selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage shop at 1801 Oak Street.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
For sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Allo provides so much more. Safer screen time, more of the channels you love, and real peace of mind. Take it from Richard in Lincoln, who gets more with Allo.
The internet is twice as fast as competitors, and the whole package is saving me $60 per month. As a retired veteran, this extra money is fantastic.
So switch to Allo today. Go to allofiber.com/providing more.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the summer with peaches and cream cheese. Great on any bagel. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations. Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonzal Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit bonzalpool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonzal Pool and Spa.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
This
Well, good morning, little brother.
is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Apologies to those watching the show on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers stream. One of the cameras isn't working. Steve, right now you can see Sipple, you can see Happer, and me and Schaefer are not visible for the spillover.
The only people that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you can do is hear me right now, and Schaefer.
You can maddle all you want.
Is that okay?
Only people that matter.
Is that okay with you, Schaefer?
I'm fine with it. I
Yeah, I
prefer
would
not
be
to be
too.
on camera.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'd
I was
welcome.
trying to. Well, I clicked on. We'll see if I can get it going. Oh, it's no. I'll get it figured out. Welcome, guys. How are you doing today?
Hello. Good.
Good.
We've had a fiery show today. We had
Oh, really? What
Rick
happened?
on earlier. Well,
God, Jake was.
I was. You guys probably feel differently. I'm not going to speak for you, but
Please never speak
Scott
for me.
Frost's
Don't do that.
press conference yesterday was a big part of our conversation, and I said I was fine with how it went. I had no problem. I went back and watched it again last night to see if I felt the same way, and I felt fine about it because he says things that get ripped apart in general anyways, and he didn't say a lot. He answered questions. It was short. It was sweet. It wasn't really sweet.
When,
It was short, but I was fine with it. Your guys' thoughts?
When in your past history of covering Scott Frost or a Nebraska coach, when they talk about why someone has been chosen as a captain, have they been ripped apart for it?
Not that part. But
Okay, so there's a
when
reason that he just didn't want to talk about Damian Daniels as a captain.
Okay, that's a little.
I'm
odd.
just, I mean, I'm
okay.
just wondering.
Okay.
That's
I've
a little
seen-
odd, but
I've
in
seen
general,
this
I'm fine with
idea.
his demeanor.
How often do you feel the Nebraska media really rips Scott Frost apart? How often do the fan base really rip Scott Frost apart for words that he says relative to
I feel bad right now.
relative to the play on the field?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that question.
All right, that's fine.
But I'm just saying that if for all the people out there yesterday that were saying that it was ridiculous, a bad showing for him, I don't think it was terrible. I'm fine with how he approached it. Maybe he's just that locked in for the season that he doesn't want to talk right now.
There's
What's wrong
two.
with that?
It's amazing. There are two camps in this. Two camps sprung up. Rick Kaczynski, who has been sort of critical of Frost, just jumped to his defense today and eviscerated me on air.
You've been eviscerated
because I did. I mean, I just said I would have liked to see a little more joy. And like Schaefer said, talk about the Capitals.
I mean,
it's a big day. It's a big day.
I wasn't there, so I want to start
Okay.
with that. I had left. I generally confine myself to the hallway where there's plenty of joy and jovial natures.
Hallway guys.
And Chris Bassnett asking hypothetical questions.
That was hilarious.
So there's that. But having listened to it, like, I don't know that there was a question in there other than maybe when you get towards the vaccine stuff that would cause a coach to get that
short,
right? Kirk, if you will.
That's why I think my read on it was, I mean, you could kind of tell when he walked in the room, It was like I don't know if he was mad. I don't know if he was angry. That's I didn't read that. I just thought he was, I don't know, let's call it trolling people. Like, I just thought he was kind of like, I'm just going to make this press conference last 5 minutes today because I want to. It's one time in a span of however, 3 years, 3+ years or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like this somehow spurred this whole big conversation yesterday, and I don't really think that it's completely necessary. They're going to play a game on Saturday, and if it loses, then if they lose, then things get more difficult.
Oh boy, don't want to have that conversation.
But if they win, I think it'll probably be pretty normal on Monday. I don't know. I just don't. It didn't make me feel some type of way yesterday.
Okay,
it really didn't.
Yeah.
I'm curious from like you going back to even like last week, 2 weeks ago to today, 4 days away from kickoff. Do you guys feel more confident about Nebraska against Illinois on Saturday, or
I feel the same exact
confidence? I mean, and what is that level of confidence?
Nothing with the investigation, nothing with the press conference has changed how I feel like they're going to go play against Illinois.
How do you feel?
I've been relatively confident that they're going to go there and they're going to play solid football. I mean, I don't know that I'm 100% sure they're going to cover the spread, but I'm 85% sure they win the game. So I'm at 85-15.
7.
Is it 7?
So I mean,
I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
There's nothing that has happened in terms of whatever with the players that makes me think anything as it relates to what's going to happen on the field yet. I think it's fascinating that we talk all about avoiding distractions. And rather than just get through another 10-minute press conference in his life, which he has done multiple times, Frost chose to go a different direction, has created another conversation.
Well, but is it a distraction?
Not for the players,
No,
necessarily, but
Right.
it's just another thing that is out there is involving Nebraska football. It's another thing that looks and reacts poorly on social media. It's another thing in which will be talked about ad nauseum instead of the football game.
Are you guys going to talk about it?
Yeah. I guess I understand why it creates a conversation. I should,
And in a vacuum, if they go out and they win the Illinois game again, we all move on. But it's just like a necessary thing because the questions weren't bringing $1 million head coaches, and they're questions that he has to answer because he represents the football team.
Don't have Kaz on your show. That would be one thing.
Do you think this is a trend he will do going forward, or a one-time thing?
If it is, I'm sure his new boss, Trev Alberts, isn't going to be thrilled by it. And I'm sure he wasn't thrilled by yesterday.
Games, he will be all right with it, I'm sure.
Well, if he wins games and he talks for 5 minutes, then I guess we'll have to readjust everything because then things are going to be better on the field instead of being poor on the field and now poor in the press conference. So, I mean, it's like, what do you want?
What's more important than Trev Alberts?
Well, Trev Alberts, I'm sure it's winning. But at the same time, we haven't seen this. We have experienced a little of the other. So I think the winning has to happen. The games have to happen. I'm so tired of this offseason. It's like the thing that sucks is yesterday could have been avoided.
Yeah,
it didn't need to be 5 minutes. It could have been 10, and you could have accomplished the same short press conference thing.
Yeah, it crept up pretty quick. I thought we were rolling along, having a nice
for a quiet off season. I don't know. Did Wednesday the investigation?
Yeah, that might have been.
I think that bothered him.
It may be. See, I hate to speculate because he could have been having a great day yesterday.
Was he even asked about the investigation yesterday?
I don't think he was.
No.
I mean, the first couple questions were so incredibly innocuous and meaningless as it is anyways.
Now, I don't want to assume that he's feeling pressure or he was having a bad day. I don't know what it was. He might have been having a great day. That just might have been the tack he wanted to take. Maybe he was in a hurry. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe he was in a hurry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
I'm seeing, unfortunately, for radio purposes, I'm a little down the middle on this one.
I'm with you, Sipple.
I totally understand where Schaefer's coming
from. And I'm not over here like begging that he gets fired, and I don't want it to be a further conversation than yesterday, but I understand why people would be annoyed, and I understand why working media would be like, well, hey, I want to write about captains, and here's the head coach who's looking forward to Saturday.
Well, it just diverts the conversation to something unnecessary, and maybe that was the point.
Actually, that's probably what annoys me the most, Adam.
Maybe that was the point, because instead of talking about all the the running back situation and all the football stuff that we were going to get into yesterday, and the COVID stuff too, which is important because we want to know exactly how it works in there. It's like, was Frost mad?
There's just something bothering him.
Is something bothering him? What's wrong with him? It weirdly, I maybe the idea was to divert the attention away from him, and instead it came back on him.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like reading so much into it either. It is what it is. He was short. Move on. I tend to be that way. I'm sort of nonplussed by it, actually. It's interesting to me, though, the camps have sprung up. I mean, our text line was very supportive of Jake.
I mean, it's been that way for a while. I think that people are largely in the he's got to go,
why did it turn into Frost versus the media all of a sudden? It's not like yesterday was combative.
Well, and then it's the media versus the fans, which is probably why it annoys me more than anything, is that I get tired of my mentions just being a trash fire of people telling me that I'm trying to tear down the program.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
Why is it happening? The season hasn't even started,
and
people are at each other's
win
throats.
some games. But that's win some games.
That's why yesterday was That's why yesterday was unnecessary.
That's what makes this place unpleasant right now, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the season hasn't even started. People are at each other's throats.
Yeah, it's rough.
Everybody's a little on edge right now.
They're nervous about the game and the season right now. They're nervous.
Why?
We're nervous.
There's a lot that goes on that.
Well, you didn't have a head coach that diffused anything on Monday.
Simple. If you're not all in on Illinois is the biggest game in the history of time,
I've been telling it for months.
You better.
He's been hearing it from this side for months that this is the biggest game of the season by far.
But does Buffalo become that too? I mean,
if they lose,
I know that's what I mean.
And you've already lost.
Well, we're definitely in everything's a referendum season.
Right.
Oh
so.
yeah.
But you see what I'm saying, Shay?
Yeah. Well, that's where this
I
place
get
is
the
at
Illinois
right now.
thing, but are you just going to shift your mentality? I'm not going to count for it. Are you going to shift it to Buffalo? Then are you going to shift it to Michigan State?
I
Then are you going to shift it
in the season to go pretty bleak if you lose to Illinois off the bat.
Right.
You think, well, this is going to be bad.
But you're going to
tell
them
the noise
it
just
is.
gets louder.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
noise
absolutely.
gets louder. I don't know that if it has to be like, well, if you lose to Illinois by a point, then
God,
you're
Schaefer,
going to
is so
lose to
right, though.
Buffalo.
This is referendum city every week.
Yeah,
it is.
Yes,
Hate
it
it.
is.
Hate it.
Welcome.
I know you hate that.
Welcome
I don't
to
like it.
2021
I don't know
football
anyone
season.
that, like, if this is your livelihood, it's not enjoyable to be living in a bubble of tension every single day.
Schaefer, I appreciate you saying that.
But I mean, that's why it
I
annoys
appreciate
me.
you saying that. That's
because
true.
all that he needed to do yesterday was to come out and talk for 10 minutes. It could have been short. He could have not said anything. It happens many times, but you could at least do it in a manner that makes it present that you aren't just absolutely pissed to be there.
Somebody said on the YouTube stream, maybe Scott is tired of people asking meaningless questions. Okay, what's meaningless?
We're asking about captains, black shirts.
I love the other reaction to this is, well, he doesn't need to answer any questions. It's like, yeah, no, it's not like we put out content that thousands and thousands and thousands of people listen to.
But so this is up for people to decide. Like, what's meaningful and what's meaningless? If we deem everything to be meaningless, then this is just not the right place for you. Is the vaccination rate meaningless?
No. Black shirts
not.
are not meaningless. That's a huge tradition here. And it's a
Captains
big part of the
aren't
program.
meaningless.
Captains are big.
How someone like Damian
Right.
Daniels became a
Right.
captain is fascinating to
Right.
me because
Right.
it's not someone that I would have guessed going into Saturday.
Right.
Now, there's other people that can speak out of
Right.
that, and they did. That's fine. It's just a little weird that the head coach, when given a chance, a softball thrown right down the middle, he just watches the pitch go and then spits on the catcher.
Okay. All right.
Good job. Good stuff. That was good.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hot rock! Red 7, red 7, red 7! Hot rock! Down, set, hut.
Today's 2-minute drill is a simple plug. Today, Tom and Bach are out at Chick-fil-A down south.
yes.
Charlie
Oh,
Cologne's Chick-fil-A, our good
Oh,
friend
wow,
Charlie,
wow.
11 to 2. Stop by. You can stop at either Chick-fil-A in town. And if you purchase something with the app, whether you get points on it, you will be entered for a chance to win a tailgate for 15 people. That's chicken nuggets, fruit, iced tea, and more. Yeah, that's today,
Nice.
11 to 2. Every
Chicken nuggets,
Tuesday
fruit.
going forward, Chick-fil-A, stop by.
Fruit.
Happer and Schaefer's up next. For Steve Sipple, I'm Jake Sorensen. See you.
take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonds